Enforcement of the stay-home order and a few exceptions to the rule. City Council Special Meeting 3/26/2020. Today I'm going to talk about the discussion and potential action item, which is on the March 26th, 2020 Special City Council meeting, which is a resolution of the Council of the City of Livingston ratifying emergency order directing all individuals within the city to comply with Merced County's office order to stay at home and establishing additional penalties for violations. I've already done a video about the Merced County Health Officer's order and the exemptions that are contained within that order, and you might want to go through that video after you finish with this one. Before we get started with my summary, if you want to see the entire agenda packet for yourself, you can go to livingstoncity.com. I will point out right now that it's not a secure website, so I definitely wouldn't be filling out any forms or applications on this thing at least until they get it fixed. But if you want to get to the agenda packet, you're going to go over to Government Organization, slide down to Elected Officials, go over to Agenda, Minutes, and Public Notices. Go over to the right and click the button above City Council. On the City Council agenda packets, you are going to slide down until you hit the 3/26/20 City Council meeting and click that. And there it is, where you can read the whole thing at your leisure. City Council Special Meeting Agenda, March 26, 2020, 7 p.m. This meeting will not be physically open to the public. All members of the public may participate in the meeting via teleconference by calling 605-468-8002. Access code number 1568. 1 #, and will be given the opportunity to provide public comment. The meeting will be streamed on YouTube live streaming. The discussion and potential action item: resolution of the Council of the City of Livingston ratifying emergency order directing all individuals within the city to comply with Merced County Health Officer's order to stay at home and establishing additional penalties for violations. Now we're going to look at Exhibit A, the actual order of the City of Livingston directing all individuals within the city to comply with the Merced County Health Officer's order to stay at home or at their place of residence and establishing additional penalties for violations. I'll read paragraph 1. The intent of this order is to ensure that the maximum number of people self-isolate in their places of residence to the maximum extent feasible, while enabling essential services to continue to slow the spread of COVID-19 to the maximum extent possible. Now, paragraph 2 is history, so I'm going to bounce down to paragraph 3. All residents and persons in the City of Livingston are hereby ordered and directed to comply with the county order. No person shall leave their residence in the city except for essential activities, essential government functions, or to operate essential businesses as those terms are defined in the county order. All public and private gatherings of any number of people occurring outside a household or living unit are prohibited except as provided for in Section 10 of the county order. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that Section 10 of the county order later. Paragraph 4. No person within the City of Livingston shall A. Willfully obstruct, hinder, or delay any member of the city's emergency organization in the enforcement of this order or in the performance of official duties, or B. commit an act imperiling the lives or damaging property of the residents of the city. Paragraph 5. Pursuant to Government Code Sections 26602 and 41601 and Health and Safety Code Sections 101029 and 131080, the county health officer requested that the sheriff and all chiefs of police in the county ensure compliance with and enforce the county order. Now I'm going to skip down. Let's see. Pursuant to the Livingston Municipal Code, any violation of this order may be punished as a misdemeanor or by an administrative citation with a fine of up to $500 per violation. In accordance with the requirements of Livingston Municipal Code Chapter 1-4. In addition to the police department, any employee designated by the city manager is authorized to issue administrative citations to enforce this order. I want to repeat that. Any employee designated by the city manager is authorized to issue administrative citations to enforce this order. Number 7, the city manager or his designee may revoke or suspend the business license of any business operating in violation of the county order. Let me repeat that. The city manager or his designee may revoke or suspend the business license of any business operating in violation of the county order. 8. This order shall become effective immediately and if ratified by the council will continue until it is rescinded, superseded, or amended in writing by the director of the disaster council or until the proclamation of local emergency for the city of Livingston is terminated. Now, I want to point out at the very bottom of this section, it shows that the city manager is the director of the disaster council. Paragraph 9 talks about where copies of the order will be posted. Paragraph 10 is your typical severability clause. I'm going to pause just a moment to stick in my 2 cents at this point. This thing needs a sunset clause. Pick a date, a month, 2 months, 3 months out, definitely not more than 6 months out where this thing dies unless extended by the council again. If it's important enough, it's important enough that the council take a look at this thing again in a few weeks or a couple of months. Now what I want to do is start getting into those exceptions to the general rule that will show that there will be many times that people will have legitimate reasons to be out and about either during the day or during the evening and their activities are not prohibited. So what I'm going to do is skip down to the very last paragraph of this, which says, health officer orders are legally enforceable. However, residents are permitted to leave their homes to perform essential functions and certain other activities while implementing safe social distancing. Now, this is from the actual order of the health officer. And what I want to do is skip down to paragraph 1 and go about 1, 2, 3, 4 lines in where it says, when people need to leave their place of residence, whether to obtain or perform vital services or to otherwise facilitate authorized activities necessary for continuity of social and commercial life, they should at all times reasonably possible comply with social distancing requirements as defined in section 10 below. And here is another reference to that section 10, which we are going to get into. In paragraph 3 about businesses, section 10 is mentioned again. In paragraph 4, section 10 is mentioned again. In paragraph 5, talking about travel, section 10 is mentioned again. So that section 10 is really an important part of this discussion. Section 10. Now we're going to get into the definitions and exemptions. I, engaging in activities or performing tasks essential to health and safety, including but not limited to pets. I, obtaining necessary services or supplies for themselves or their family or household members, or to deliver those services or supplies to others. I, to engage in outdoor activity, provided the individuals comply with social distancing requirements as defined in this section, such as, by way of example and without limitation, walking, hiking, or running. IV, to perform work providing essential products and services at an essential business, or to otherwise carry out activities specifically permitted in this order, including minimum basic operations. V, to care for a family member or pet in another household. Paragraph B is about working for or getting services from healthcare operations, which also includes veterinary care and all healthcare services provided to animals. This exemption shall be construed broadly to avoid any impacts to the delivery of healthcare broadly defined. Healthcare operations does not include fitness and exercise gyms and similar facilities. Paragraph C is about essential infrastructure. Paragraph D, first responders, emergency management personnel, emergency dispatchers, court personnel, law enforcement personnel, and others who need to perform essential services are categorically exempt from this order. Paragraph C, for the purposes of this order, covered businesses include any for-profit, non-profit, or educational entities, regardless of the nature of the service, the function they perform, or its corporate or entity structure. For the purpose of this order, essential businesses mean I, healthcare and essential infrastructure, I, grocery stores and similar stores, skipping down to the bottom. This includes stores that sell groceries and also sell other non-grocery products and products necessary to maintain the safety, sanitation, and essential operation of residences. Okay, skipping down a little more, delivery services that provide transport of essential products such as water, food, and household products. Child care facilities providing services that enable employees exempted from in this order to work as permitted. And then it gives some of the ways that the child care has to be managed in order to operate. G, for the purposes of this order, minimum basic operations include the following, provided that employees comply with social distancing requirements. Now, this would have to do with, say, for example, a business that might have to close because it is not considered an essential business. So what does it do to keep its stuff safe? I, the minimum necessary activities to maintain the value of the business's inventory, ensure security, process payroll and employee benefits, or for related functions. I, the minimum necessary activities to facilitate employees of the business being able to continue to work remotely from their residence. Let's get into some travel exemptions. Paragraph H, essential travel. I, travel related to the provision of or access to essential activities, government functions, business, or minimum basic operations. I, travel to care for elderly, minors, dependents, persons with disabilities, or other vulnerable persons. I, travel to or from educational institutions. IV, travel to return to a place of residence from outside the jurisdiction. V, travel required by law enforcement or court order. VI, travel required for non-residents to return to their place of residence outside the county. Paragraph I is the definition of residences. Paragraph J gives the definition of social distancing requirements. Now we're going to get into some of the frequently asked questions regarding new order directing individuals to stay at home. This document from the Merced County is also included in the Livingston City Council agenda packet, which you can get online. So let's take a look at some of these questions and answers. I run an essential business as defined by the order. Do I need to get an official letter of authorization from the county to operate? No. If your business is in the list of essential businesses provided in the order, then you may operate it. You do not need to obtain any specific authorization from the county to do so. I work for an essential business as defined by the order. Do I need to have a letter from my employer or other documentation to travel? No, you do not need to carry official documentation demonstrating that you are exempt under the order, but be prepared to explain, if requested by law enforcement, why your travel is authorized under the order. This states really plainly that you do not or should not need to be carrying papers to prove that you're out on legitimate business. Can I leave home to care for my elderly parents or friends who require assistance to care for themselves, or a friend or family member who has disabilities? Yes. Be extremely cautious when providing care to vulnerable people and ensure that you protect them and yourself by following social distancing guidelines such as washing hands before and after, using hand sanitizer, maintaining at least 6 feet of distance when possible, and coughing or sneezing into a tissue. Once again, you do not need travel papers to prove that you're caring for an elderly parent or friend. The order prohibits non-essential travel on foot or bike. Does that mean that I can't go on a walk or take a bike ride? No. The order allows you to go outside for exercise so long as you maintain social distancing more than 6 feet from persons who are not part of your household. This includes activities like walks or hikes or bike rides or going to a park. Can I leave home to exercise? If you will be outdoors and not in close contact with other people, yes. Otherwise, no. Fitness centers, exercise gyms, recreational centers, golf courses, and public pools are not permitted to operate. So once again, there are legitimate reasons to be outside. I become anxious when cooped up in my house. Am I allowed to go to a park or on a hike? Can I travel to a county park or open space? Yes. Spending time outside improves mood and well-being and is particularly beneficial to children. You can go for walks, go to the park, and engage in other similar activities, but you should maintain social distance more than 6 feet away from persons who are not part of your household to avoid spread of the virus. Can I go shopping for things other than food, groceries? Yes, you can shop for anything that is related to healthcare, hardware supplies, supplies needed to telecommute, and supplies essential to safety and sanitation. But you should minimize unnecessary trips. Can I walk my dog or pet? Yes. Be sure that you distance yourself at least 6 feet from others who are not part of your household. Can I go to a vet or pet hospital if my pet is sick? Yes. Please call first to determine if the vet has any restrictions in place. Can I take my kids to the park and can we use playgrounds? The order allows you to engage in outdoor activities, provided that you maintain adequate social distancing. While we encourage use of parks, we strongly discourage the use of playgrounds because they include high-touch surfaces and because it is typically not possible to maintain social distancing at playgrounds. Can I carry out a court-ordered visit with my kids? Yes, the order exempts travel by court order or law enforcement. You can see for yourself there are several legitimate exceptions to the stay home rule, but I am hearing that people are afraid they will be hassled by law enforcement while walking, biking, or driving to or from one of these exempted activities, activities that are unrelated to employment and would not be covered by a travel letter from an employer. They are afraid they will be arrested or cited by an overzealous officer when they can't prove they are out and about on a legitimate exempted activity. The documentation provided by the county states plainly that travel papers are not required. In my humble opinion, the essential question will be, will the city and law enforcement understand it in the same way? But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you're subscribed to the channel already, you might want to check and make sure you're still subscribed so you're notified whenever a new video goes live. And subscribe if you're new. Until next time, this is the gardening snail of Livingston, California, because not every critter is hiding under a rock.